understand in the transportation and what are the types of transportation and what are the steps which are involved in the transportation. And for those steps, if any other prerequisite calculation parts or some methods, we will discuss all these things today. Okay, so as we have only one session today, so I'll not wait for others to join. I'll just start with the transportation. Now, if you see the name itself, transportation is nothing but we say that it is the special kind of LPP in which the goods are transported from one set of source to the another set of destination. Okay, what we call it as, or we say that uh, it is the transportation cost which is involved when the goods are transported from one place to the another place, subjected to the supply and the demand of sources and destination respectively. So for such problems, what will be the transportation cost and how to minimize the transportation cost? This is what we are going to study in the transportation problem. There are two types. One is the balanced and the other one is the unbalanced transportation. Now, what is this balanced transportation is when you have supply cost and the demand cost which are equal, then that is the balanced transportation problem, we call it as. How to calculate the, like how to understand whether the given problem is balanced or unbalanced, we will see that in the next point. And in the unbalanced transportation problem, you see that supply is not equal to demand. Okay, now if you see the steps, there are two steps which are involved in calculation of or solving in the transportation. One is we need to first find what is initial basic feasible solution, and the second one is optimizing the given problem, optimization. Okay, so we will see one problem first to understand what is unbalanced and what is balanced problem. Okay, say there is one problem here. There are three sources and there are three destinations. And there are cost for each source to each destination. These are the costs for each source to destination. Then here what we write is the supply, and here what you can see is the demand. 200, 400 and 400. Supply for first source is 200, 300 and for third it is 500. Now what you need to do is you need to first check whether the transportation problem is balanced or unbalanced. Now to check that, you must take the summation of all the demands and summation of all the supplies. Both the values must be same, then only we say that it is balanced problem. Okay, for example, if you take the summation of all these supplies, 200 plus 300 is 500 plus 500 is 1000. Similarly, 200 plus 400 is 600, 600 plus 400 is 1000. So we conclude that here S is equal to D, that is supply is equal to demand. So this is balanced transportation problem. Okay. Now, what if these two values are not same? If S is not equal to D. So in this case, according to your problem, you need to add dummy row or dummy column with cost as 0. Okay. So say for example, if here demand is 800 here and the supply is 1000, then what you need to do is you need to add a column to balance the transportation. So what will be the column value? Whatever you have 800 and the 1000, the left out is 200 balance, like difference is there. That 200 you need to allocate for the column. Okay. And cost for that particular column will be all zero cost. For example, say, let me show that also. Okay, what I was talking about is, say for example, instead of 400, so you have 200. That is, the demand is 800 for the same problem and the supply is 1000. That is, supply for first is 200, 300 and 500. First source, second source, third source, destination A, B, C. Okay. And you have all these costs: 275, 342, 547. Okay. Now, if you see, 200 plus 400 plus 200 is 800. Okay. And this is 1000. So what you need to do is you need to add one column. This is called as dummy column. Dummy column, and all the costs of this dummy column must be 0, and the difference will be the demand. So 1000 minus 800 is 200. Okay. Now when you add this will be 1000. So this is how you need to add dummy row or dummy column. If suppose say the supply is lesser and the demand is more, then if you have the unbalanced in that, then you need to add the row. Okay, like this, you need to balance the transportation problem. Then you need to proceed for two steps. So what are these two steps which are involved are here I've written. See, that is, you need to first, in the first phase, you need to find initial basic feasible solution. Then in the second phase, you need to find the optimality. Okay. Now we will discuss today the IBFS, that is initial basic feasible solution. To get the basic feasible solution, you have again three methods. So initial basic feasible solution. So under this, you study three solutions or three methods. One is northwest corner method, then least cost cell method, Then you have VAM method. So this is Ogle's approximation method. Okay. Now we will see one by one. What is this northwest and what is the least cost cell method and VAM method. Now, in the problem of transportation, what they'll mention is you need to solve for optimization using northwest corner method as the initial feasible solution, or least cost cell method, or VAM method. If there is no mention about the initial basic feasible solution, then you're free to choose any basic solution, either the northwest or least cost or VAM. Okay, so we will see all one by one. So in the first, we will see what is this northwest corner method. So for this, again, we'll take the same set of example and we'll try to understand all these three methods. So there is the problem which is given here, that is okay. So you have the costs and the demand supply are given. So there are three sources.
Ma'am, how will they give the question for this, ma'am? They'll give the table directly only.
Yes, yes. They'll give the table directly, sources and destination. So this is the destination. A, B, C, and D. There are four destinations with supply and demand. So demand is 250, 350, 400, 200. Then you have 300, 400, 500. And the costs are 3, 1, 7, 4, 2, 6, 5, 9, 8, 3, 3, 2. Similarly, here also it is 3, 1, 7, 4, 2, 6, 5, 9, 8, 3, 3, 2. Okay. So first we will see the northwest corner method. So in the northwest corner method, as the name suggests, you need to always consider the northwest corner for the allocation. Okay, now how to allocate is you have supply and you have demand. Either of the one value you need to allocate for one cell. Now, which value you need to allocate is for the northwest corner, whichever is minimum out of supply and the demand. That value you need to allocate, and you need to see what is remaining in demand and supply row or column. Okay, so we will see one by one. Now, if you see in the entire table, the northwest corner is this corner. You need to allocate the value in the cell number 1 because that is the northwest corner. Now, what you need to allocate there, whether you need to allocate the demand value or the supply value, you need to compare both. You have 250 as demand, 300 as supply. Whichever is minimum, you need to allocate that. So minimum is 250. Allocate that 250, and if you see here, there is 0 which is remaining, and in the row there is 50 supply which is remaining. Next, wherever you have the 0, you need to cut that particular row or column. So this column, particularly this column, we are getting 0, so eliminate this entire column. Then if you leave this first column, you need to again start from column B to D. Okay, and for row 1 2 3, so this is 1 2 3, source 1 2 and 3. Now out of this, again the northwest corner would be this corner.
Ma'am, could
So
you
for
please
the
repeat that, ma'am, the first row, 3 to 8?
see, first the northwest corner is your first cell only. For that first cell, you need to allocate the minimum one. So out of supply and demand, which is the minimum one, 250 is the minimum. So allocate the minimum value. Once you allocate the minimum value, if you see the column, you're getting 0 because you have allocated 250. And if you see the row, 300 minus 250 is 50. So wherever you have the 0, whether it is a column or the row, you need to cut that row or eliminate that row or column. So in this case, for first column, we are getting 0. Eliminate the entire row, sorry, column. Is that fine? Then again start freshly the northwest corner. Again the northwest corner will be the first cell once you eliminate the column A. So now for this cell, you need to allocate the minimum of supply or demand. If you compare demand and supply, which is the minimum?
Supply, ma'am.
Supply is the minimum. So 50 you need to allocate here. This would be 0. And what is remaining here? 300. So now as we are getting first row as 0, eliminate this first row. Similarly, for again, if you start freshly from 6th cost value, 659332. Okay, so in this would be the northwest corner. Now again you need to compare demand and supply, which is the minimum one? Demand is the lesser than supply, so allocate 300. This is 0 and here you are getting 100. What is remaining in the supply is 100. So cut this column. Similarly, again when you start freshly, this will be the northwest corner. Out of 400 demand and 100 supply, which is the minimum to be allocated? Which is the minimum value?
Right. 200 supply,
100,
ma'am.
100 is the
Sorry, 100,
uh,
100.
yeah, 100 is the minimum value. So 100, this will be 0, and here the remaining demand is 300. So again you are getting 0, cut this, eliminate that row. Then freshly if you start, this will be the northwest corner. Out of 300 and 500, you need to allocate the minimum, which is 300. This is 0, and this is 200, which is remaining. How to check whether the allocation what you have done in the northwest corner is correct or no in any of the method, it's correct or no, is when the last cell is remaining, the same value in the demand and same value in the supply should be there. Then only we understand that the allocation what you have done using whatever method you have, it is correct. Now there is only 200 which is remaining in the supply and the demand, and there is only one cell which is left out, which is 200. So here also it is 0, here also. So when you allocate everything, the row as well as the columns values must be 0. Okay, so once this is done, then you need to find what will be the cost of initial basic feasible solution under the northwest corner. So how to calculate the cost is, whatever the allocation you have done, you need to consider those cells, that is you have allocated here for the first cell. So 250 into 3, the product you need to consider, plus next cell is 50 into 1, plus next cell allocation is 300 into 6, plus 100 into 5, plus you have here 300 into 3, plus 200 into 2. So when you take the summation of all this, this is rupees 4,400. Is that fine? Northwest corner. Is that okay?
That's all, no, the entire problem.
This is only the first step, basic feasible solution. If you see the
Okay.
transportation problem, we have two steps. One is the basic feasible solution, the other one is the optimality. We are only studying the basic feasible solution, under which we have three methods. In that, the first method is northwest corner method. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we will see the next method, which is the least cost cell method. So we have the second one, that is least cost cell method. Now in the least cost cell method, I'll take the same example. What have we have considered here, the same costs, same supply value, same demand value. Okay, we have say sources 1 2 3 and 4 destinations, namely A B C D, and same costs. Okay, now how to understand this least cost cell method. Now if you see the word least cost cell, now in the entire matrix or the table, what you can see here, the cost value should be least. For that we will allocate first. Okay, so out of 3174265983332, out of this entire cost values, what you can see in the entire table, which is the minimum one,
One, ma'am.
minimum cost value is 1. Okay, so you need to allocate here again whatever is minimum for that particular row and column, you need to consider. If you see the demand for that B destination, it is 350, and supply for source 1 is 300. Okay, so out of 350 and 300, which one to be allocated?
300.
300. You need to allocate 300. Here this is 0, here it is 50, which is remaining. So cut this entire first row because we are getting 0. This is eliminated. Similarly, out of 265983332, which is the minimum one,
2 is minimum, but
2 is the
2 is
minimum. You Yeah, you have two places you can allocate anywhere. You can allocate at this cell or at this cell. Okay, and you can see which is eliminated. That row or that particular column you need to eliminate. Okay, let me allocate here. You can allocate here and see when you're practicing. So you have demand value which is 250 and supply as 400. So which one to be allocated?
250.
Minimum 250 is allocated. So this is 0 and here we are getting 150 which is remaining. So this is 0 and eliminate that particular column. Then you need to again study 659332, which is the minimum one.
2 more.
2 is the minimum, right? So which one to be allocated here? 200 or
200.
500? 200. So this is 0 and this is 300. As this column is 0, eliminate this. Out of 6533, which is minimum,
3.
you can pick any 3 and allocate for any 3. So I'll allocate for this 50 and 300. So you need to allocate 50. This will be 0. This is 250. Okay. So eliminate this. Out of 5 and 3, which is minimum?
3 only.
3 again. So 250 and 400. You need to allocate the supply. This will be 0 and here we're getting 150. Okay. Eliminate this. The last cell which is remaining is this. That is 150. Here it is 0 and here it is 0. So if you check the rows and the column, everywhere we are getting zeros. Okay, so you need to see what will be the cost here. Again, the allocated cell into cost, that is 300 into 1 plus 250 into 2 plus 150 into 5 plus 50 into 3 plus 250 into 3 plus 200 into 2. So add this, we will get 2900. Check once, okay? Whether you're getting 2900 or no. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Now coming to the last method, VAM method. That is the Ogle's approximation method. VAM, Ogle's approximation method. So this is little, you know, I don't say difficult, but little different. Okay. So again, you have 3 sources, 4 destinations. I'll take the same cost values 3174, 2659, 833. Same supply 300, 400, 200, 250, 350, 400, 200. Okay. Next, what you need to do here is okay.
One supply for the last one is 500, not I won't work now.
Okay. Okay. Now, what you need to do here is in the VAM method, first you need to see row wise which is the lesser value and which is the next minimum value. You need to take the difference of those minimum values. Now, if you see the row 1 or first source, if you take the first source, okay, which is the minimum one? 1 is the minimum in the first row. And the next minimum value is
3.
3. Difference is
2.
2. You need to write 2 here row wise. Similarly, column wise you need to see which is the minimum value.
2 and
2
3.
is the minimum value. The next minimum is 3. So difference between 3 minus 2 is 1.
1.
Similarly, second row you need to see the minimum value is 2. Next minimum value is 5. Difference is 3. Column wise, minimum is 1. Next minimum is 3. Difference is 2. Next, third row. Minimum is 3, 2. Next
2 and
minimum
3.
is 3. So 1. Next column.
2 man.
Minimum is 3. Next minimum is 5. Difference is 2. Similarly, minimum is 2. Next minimum is 4. Difference is 2. Okay. Now, out of these values, what you have calculated, that is here we take the row difference and these are the column differences. Okay. So we call these as the row penalties. And this is the column penalty. So out of these values, what you can see as a row penalty and column penalty, out of these values, what you can see in the reverse L shape, you need to pick the maximum value. So out of 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 1, which is the maximum value?
3 man.
3 is the maximum value. Good. So you need to allocate for that particular row. Now where you need to allocate will be the next question. So we understood that maximum value is 3 or the penalty is 3. Accordingly, you need to mark or allocate in that particular row, but where, in which cell you need to allocate. So which is the minimum cost cell, there you need to allocate. So if you see the second row, so which is the minimum cost cell?
2 man.
2 is the minimum cost cell. So you need to allocate here. Again, what you need to allocate? Minimum of supply or demand. So which is the minimum?
Supply. Sorry, demand 250.
Demand is the minimum. So 250 you need to allocate. So 250. Here 0 is remaining and here 150 is remaining. Is that fine? Next, again you need to see where you need to eliminate, what you can eliminate. So if you see there is 0 in the first column, so eliminate the entire column. Again
Can you
start
repeat
the,
after the penalties, ma'am?
yes, again you need to start calculating the penalties. Once you eliminate either row or column, again you need to start freshly. So here there is no calculation part. Again you need to start from the row difference. So leaving this A or 1, you can start from 174. So which is the minimum in the
1 and
particular
4
row?
man.
1 and 4 difference you need to take, that is 3. Similarly, out of 6, 5, 9,
5 and 6
difference
man.
is 5 and 6. So that is 1. Out of 3, 3, 2. Difference will be 1. So this is the row difference. For the column difference, 1, 6, 3. So the difference is
1,
2.
3, 2. All are 2, 2, 2.
Then you have 7, 5, 3. Difference is 2 because 5 and 3. 4, 9, 2. Difference is 2 because 4 and 2. Now out of these row penalty and column penalty, which is the maximum one? 3 is the
3.
maximum. So according to the row penalty, we are getting the first source or the first row which you need to consider as the allocation row, but where you need to allocate for the minimum cost. So what is the minimum cost in first row?
1.
1. So out of 350 and 300, which one to be allocated?
Supply 300.
300. So this is 0 and here we are getting 50. So which is the 0 like
The
column
first
or
column,
row?
sorry, first row completely.
Row. So eliminate this completely. Again repeat the procedure. So row wise if you take, this is one case. So you need to take it from the second row. The difference 6, 5, 9 is difference is 1. Here difference is 1. Column wise it is 3, 2 and 7. So which is the maximum value? 7 is the maximum value. According to that, D is the column where you need to allocate. So where particularly you need to exactly you need to allocate for the
2.
minimum cost. So 2. Supply or demand?
Demand.
Demand. This is 300 which is remaining. Here 0 is remaining. So again you're getting 0 in this column. Eliminate this. Then there are 4 values 6, 5, 3, 3. So second source 6, 5. Difference is 1.
1.
Here difference is nil
0.
or you can write 0. And column wise 3, 2. What is the maximum one? 3 is the maximum. You need to allocate for the minimum cost value, that is 3. So minimum supply or demand, that is 50.
50.
Here 250 is remaining. Here 0. So this is eliminated. So remaining 5 and 3, you need to pick the minimum cost value. So 3 will be the minimum cost value. For that you need to allocate the supply, which is 250, 0, 150 which is remaining, and the last cell is 5 cost with cost 5. So this is 150, this is 0 and this is 0. Is that okay? Is that fine? So lastly again
Yes,
you need to
ma'am.
take the product 300 into 1